Hey, this is Armin Kamal from Dirty Beloved, and you're listening to Stargazer Rock Radio.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing very well, thank you. How are you doing today?
Oh, doing just fine.
Doing just fine. All right, you guys, I've got Armin on the line from Dirty Beloved, band over in Ottawa, Canada, and I got to go meet him and a couple of other bands a couple years back. Happy to have you here on the show.
Well, thanks. It's great to be here, and glad to hear that people are enjoying the songs.
Oh yeah, we just got done listening to No Guide, and they really thought that was a great song. I wanted to show them that you guys play more than just heavy music, that you guys do sound good, even when you play something nice and mellow.
Yeah,
Um,
there's always more than one side to a band.
that's right, there is. All right, so you got Michael on guitars, Todd on bass. Todd's supposed to be coming, eh?
Todd actually just walked in to my man cave literally just now.
All right, well, we'll wait for him to get settled down here for a second. You guys just have the two albums out, Letters from a Broken Home and Brain Bleeder, or do you have other ones coming?
Actually, yeah, there is one earlier album that we put out, and that's called A World Made for You, and that was the first one we did. That's when I first joined the band, and there's a lot of leftover songs from before I actually joined, and so we just kind of whipped that together. It's sort of a lighter rock album, more so than what you're hearing now. So we really came into our own in the last two albums.
All right, well, how long have you guys known each other? How did you become a band?
Well, I'll let Todd handle the band part because I'm the last one in. So, but I do have a story about how I do know and how I did come into the band. So I'll just let Todd take over the history of the band.
Okay.
Hey, yeah. Well, Mike and myself, we met actually in a previous band back in 2001, and then Neil joined us about a year later. So we were doing sort of an indie rock kind of thing back then. And then finally, our singer left. So around 2005, Armin hooked up with us, and we've been going together since then.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Who came up
And
with the...
and my connection to the band was Mike. I actually worked with him in some high tech fashion years prior to him kind of pulling me into the band.
Oh, very cool. Who came up with the name Dirty Beloved?
I'm pretty sure it was Mike. If he was here, he could tell you himself and take all the credit for it. But that's the story that I get out of it, and Todd's concurring here, I think.
All right. Which one of you guys writes your material?
It's an interesting question. So Mike really is the riff driving force behind the band. The guy eats, breathes, lives guitar, and so he's constantly writing riffs and bringing them to the practice. I do contribute some of the riff writing as well, but really when it comes down to it, riffs come into the band, and then the band makes it what it is. So if the drummer's not feeling it, well then we kind of toss it away. If Todd's kind of looking with a glazed look on, saying, "Yeah, I'm not feeling it," we'll toss it away. And same thing with me. If I can't gel with a vocal, it's there's not a lot of arguing going on with respect to the music direction.
Well, I can attest to the fact that you guys do sound fabulous live because I got, the privilege of being able to see you guys a couple of years ago. In Ottawa, I think it was Greenfields or Maxfields or something like that. You guys were playing with Scarecrows and Grace Over Diamonds that night. You guys played really well that night. I really enjoyed that show. Who do you think you guys compare to or sound like?
That's a real good one. I'd love to hear what the people in the chat have to say because we actually have sessions where we sit down and rack our brains trying to compare ourselves because you kind of when you're marketing yourself as a band, people want to know instantly, well, who do you sound like, and am I going to like them if So some of the things we kind of came up with was one of them was kind of Godsmack, but we know we don't sound just like Godsmack. We always think we sound like a mixture of things. There could be some Soundgarden thrown into there, and you might hear like small elements of Metallica, but we don't sound like any of those bands. It's just sort of the influences that kind of weave their way into it. I've heard Hail the Villain, that was thrown at me the other day, all of which are flattering, of course. But like I said, we have the hardest time, and I know a lot of bands say that, but it really is true for us.
Well, I'll ask the chat room then. Hey, you guys, who do you think Dirty Beloved sounds like? Or who do you guys think that they compare to? Just type it into the chat room, and later on, when you guys finally hear me or answer me, because there is a little lag, um, well, I'll tell these guys what you have to say. Moving right along. You guys have had a few past reviews. What was the best review you guys have had, or what was your favorite one?
Got a really nice one from Black Velvet in the UK for our 2009 album. We got it posted up on Facebook, I think, somewhere to read. But it was quite favorable. We were very happy to receive that.
Yeah, I'd say that's true. Yeah, we hooked up with a nice promotion guy from the UK, and he spread he you know basically mass shipped our CD to all these magazines and stuff like that. And there's actually a lot of positive reviews. More so from the UK side, I would say, than where the European side. So there was stuff coming in from, I believe, Spain, Germany, that kind of that kind of area. And even for the last album, it was. I don't want to say it's a mixed bag, but we may have put the CD in front of people that were more death metal people, and so we're nowhere near that. And but they still give us a thumbs up. It just wasn't their style.
Well, I mean, I have a few friends that I could probably toss your stuff to too to get you guys a little bit more. But all right, how about this question? Letters from a Broken Home. What made you come up with that as a title for your album?
Oh, that's a real good question, actually. One of the songs on there is called Homebound, and that's really all about, well, I mean, if you really look into the lyrics, you can pick up pretty quickly. It's about abuse and, the hand that's supposed to protect you doesn't protect you. And I'm not saying that that's where I came from by any stretch, but you've known people like that, and it does kind of tug at your heartstrings when you do know that kind of thing goes on. And so really, what it is, it's just a message saying, when you don't take care of your offspring or your young, and they get out in the world and stuff like that, they don't forget, and that's where those letters come back to haunt you.
Oh, totally relate to that. They're saying in the chat room, you'll have to play us another song. Bruce is saying, that's a tough one, Sare. They sound unique. That's what I say, Bruce. I say they sound like Dirty Beloved. That's my opinion anyway. But, I'm kind of biased because, I'm kind of partial to them. I kind of dig them. But anyways, my favorite song from that album is My Days With You, and it cracks me up every time I hear it because of the lyrics that say, I kind of like your face, but it's a shame about the rest. Every time I hear that song, I crack right the hell up. What made you guys come up with that song?
Ooh. Well, I'm pretty sure we've all dated or been with somebody that, for either a brief period of time or maybe even a long period of time, and you're just kind of kicking yourself for ever having spent that time, right? It's and it's not to diss anyone or anything like that. It's just sometimes you just don't mesh with somebody, and that's what it comes down to, is just a clash of personalities, really.
Well, nonetheless, that song makes me happy every time I hear it. I giggle. So just so you know, you make somebody smile through your pain, whoever pain it may have been.
Glad to oblige.
Also on that album, Blind Eye of God, I really like that song. What's that one all about?
Oh, well, that one is pretty much, I think the title sums it up, but it's... again, I got to be careful and tread a fine line here, because I don't want to insult any organized religions and stuff like that, because I really don't have anything against them, other than it's just good for people to have an open mind and think for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so the song just calls into question, all these things that happen, and everybody seems to have their own God, and their God's the best and stuff like that. So if there really is one true God or whatever it is, that why would all this bad stuff happen, right? And,
Indeed.
And
Indeed.
so it just says, if it is true, well, then he's got to be blind, and that's just sort of where that came from.
Well, that's very cool. That's a very cool summary. I dig that. What track do you consider the best from that particular album?
You Let Me Drown has received a lot of positive review and feedback, and we still open our sets with that today, actually.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that's one of the finer productions on the album. Band is really tight on that, and yeah, I'd say I'm proud of that one as well.
All right. Brain Bleeder. That's the new one. The first two singles from that album that I got from you guys were the title track, obviously, Brain Bleeder and Priests of Hiroshima. What are those two songs about?
Priests of Hiroshima is actually, I mean, if you look that up, it's all about when Japan got bombed. There was this church. I can't remember how far away it was from the actual bomb site, but everything else around got decimated, except for that particular church. And everyone around there got radiation poisoning, got sick at some point, and died. But these three priests, I believe it was three of them that were in there. They were in the building at the time the explosion happened, and they were praying, and they're the only ones. So you can see how this band kind of teeter-totters back and forth, right? One song is about the blind eye of God, and then here you got these three guys that were protected. So what is truth? We don't know. But that story really kind of just caught my attention. I thought that was pretty cool. Brain Bleeder, that one you got to read into a little bit more, but really that's about how we all kind of got raked over the coals by Wall Street in the past few years. And so it's a group of people that, they've got their master plan, and they take care of themselves with little to no regard for anyone else. And so, they sell you the stories, buy the stocks, this, that, the other thing, and the next thing you know, your money's gone. And that's what Brain Bleeder comes in. It's kind of, they put little things into your head, into your brain, and you end up losing big time.
Well, the last song that I played for these guys before I called you up, I told you was No Guide. And they were in there telling me that they really thought that was a beautiful song in the chat room, and they really enjoyed that a lot. I played like 5 of your songs actually before I called you, but that was the last one that I did play. Seeing as how they liked it so much, I guess I'll ask you what that song's about.
Okay. Well, I mean, that one really is. It's just sort of it really is just a life song. It's about. You're going to encounter all kinds of hardships, and I don't want to be negative, but in the end, it's you that makes the decisions, that pulls you out of it. It's you that, gives you the positive mindset to get yourself out of it. So rather than relying on other people to make things right for you, in the end, it is you, and that's in life and in death, right? It's you're the last sort of, I guess, deciding factor on how things happen. And that's really what it is about. I mean, it did come about from, I guess, several experiences for me personally, and one of the latest ones was the passing of a friend to lung cancer. And the only time we've ever played that song live was at a fundraiser that we did for the Elizabeth Breer Hospital, where she passed away in. So they took care of her right to the end, and that's the only time we played it live, and it was due to the fact that it was dedicated pretty much to her. That was one of the major influencing factors in that lyric.
Oh, well, that's a really neat story. It kind of actually touched me a little bit. I dug that a lot. What track would you consider the best off of this new album, Brain Bleeder?
Ooh, you're gonna ask somebody. I like a lot of them on this one, so I don't know. Todd, you got something?
Different answer for each member of the band, but I think everybody enjoys playing Priests live, at shows and stuff.
Yeah, that is a really great track.
Armin is another fun one, just for the eastern feel of the opening segment.
Yeah, I mean, we don't write music that we hate. So, and in particular, this last album was us, four guys, putting all the music together. So even the second album had residual songs from before I showed up, and so everything that's on here is pretty much just a 4-member cohesion, and so I I like most of them. I could tell you which one might skip over,
All right.
after
Well, what
after
one?
X amount of time, but that's my personal thing, and I'd rather not do that because I don't want to bias anybody. But I'm pretty much, I'd say 95 to 100%. We write music we like, and I like them all.
All right, then we'll just ask you it this way: being the vocalist, which one do you like to sing the best? And seeing as how Todd's the bass player, which one does he get to jam out to and rock out to the best?
Okay, great question. I got us. Yeah, you know what? Priest of Hiroshima really is the one that has just got this driving energy live.
Uh,
People really respond to it. You get to belt out these high notes and growl at people, and they dig it. And there's the backing vocal chants in there and stuff like that. So it's got all the elements. It's always fun, and we've been playing it for well over 2 years live, and it just doesn't get tiring. And as far as bass goes, here you go.
Yeah, I think I really enjoy playing Cause and Defect. The runs at the end are pretty active, and it's just a song I can really get into.
I
well,
dig singing that one too.
all right. If somebody wanted to purchase you guys' albums, where would they have to go to find them?
Everything's available on dirtybeloved.bandcamp.com. You can pay what you want and download to the album.
Very cool to know that. I'm pretty sure that you'll probably get a few hits off of there after today. I know that a lot of people that have been in the chat room have enjoyed your music. Um, all right, how long have you been playing bass there, Mr. Todd?
It's been, I picked up a bass 20 years, I think I've been playing. So it's been a while.
Who inspired you to become a musician?
Well, I guess some of the standards, John Paul Jones, Geezer Butler would be probably the ones I would look to, and then you get into the list, Clay Cools, more currently some of the work by, bands like Mastodon and stuff.
All right. Name a song that inspires you guys, not obviously by you, but just a song that inspires you guys, makes you feel good.
Oh, wow. Talk about not being prepared to answer
I
questions.
know. I've got a few of them for you. I figured
Yeah,
that.
no, that's cool. Man, I'm all over the map. But I'm also your typical Beavis and Butthead kind of music fan. Metallica and AC/DC and
Well,
But for songs, I've got to be honest. Like AC/DC, old school stuff, late '70s, early '80s, anything in that era would get me going. Still to this day, love For Those About to Rock. It kind of just sums it up for when you're getting ready to get up on stage.
mm-hmm.
And then there's certain songs from Zeppelin and Queen that they just inspire you. And I'll let Todd see if he's got any that he wants to throw out here.
Yeah, actually, the latest offering from Born of Osiris is a great track called Machine that just went out about a month ago. Just really enjoying the production values and the energy of the kick drums and stuff and the arrangements.
Very cool. All right, now if that one got you, this one's really gonna get you. Name a guilty pleasure song. One of them songs that you'd rather nobody even know that you liked, and when you're all alone, you jam to it and probably even sing it in the shower once in a while. Name that song.
That one's easy for me, Funky Town.
Rapper's Delight for me, I think.
Oh, Jesus.
Back in the 80s.
All right, if you could open for anyone at all, who would it be?
Well, Mastodon would be fun.
Yeah, I agree with that. They kind of that muddy swamp metal kind of thing, and I wouldn't say we're in the same genre exactly, but it certainly wouldn't be a bad match. And I saw them live, I think early this year in Montreal at the Spectrum. And, I typically have a few beverages in me when I'm seeing a concert. And this one was stone cold sober, and I felt like I was high. It was just a really fantastic show, so I wouldn't mind wouldn't mind sharing the stage with them.
All right, well, if you could be the headliner, who the hell would you have open for you?
Mastodon.
That's too funny. You guys are too funny. What's your dream venue?
Wow. Good question. I dare not.
Oh, come on.
No.
Any stage. Any stage you could stand upon.
Oh, wow. I'm trying to think of the amphitheater in Italy, Rome would be awesome to play.
Yeah, that would be pretty freaking kick-ass right there.
What was the one where all the big bands play? I think it's in Ireland, is it? It's U2 played there, and it's like, no, it's a castle.
Oh, yeah.
See, now I'm showing my ignorance, but but that's a massively cool. Any concert footage that I've
The
seen from
Albert
that
Hall, maybe?
What's that?
The Albert Hall, maybe? I don't know. Tracy, what's the big venue over there in England? You know, the one that all the cool kids play at? Is it Albert Hall? She's in the chat. She'll answer me when she hears me.
Awesome.
But I'm thinking it's Albert Hall because it kind of looks like castle-y inside.
Oh, Slane Castle, I think, is what Armin was thinking about.
N-E.
Ah, all
It's
right.
outdoors. It's an outdoor event.
Oh, well, cool. Shane Castle, she says. Yup, in Dublin, she says.
There you go. I can't even pronounce it right.
All right, well, that is a cool venue. If you could record with anyone at all, who would it be?
As in a collaboration?
Yeah.
Again, are you talking production-wise or like a producer, or are you talking about other musicians?
Other musicians, like if you could like totally make a song with somebody else, who would it be?
I'd be hanging out with the guys from Muse for sure, just like their songwriting style. I know that's not very metal, but hey.
That doesn't matter. This is Sare's Invasion, so you never know what you're gonna hear on it. You know, I mean, I do favor metal and rock and hard rock and punk and stuff like that, but I am known to play anything.
Also, given the last Anthrax album, I know the guy who produced it, which is cool enough in and of itself. But that last album, songwriting-wise, the melodies, the guitar riffs, and stuff like that—it's a crushing album. So, yeah, you know, hanging out with Scott Ian to try and put together a song wouldn't suck either.
Very cool answers. Are you guys working on new recordings?
We've got a few things sketched out already, and you know, we're going to continue to kind of form them together into 2014. So yeah, we've kind of started the process already.
Very cool. You guys like gonna totally throw me new music when you get it? Because, you know, I'll play it all the time.
Well, you know you're going to be the first recipient, right? So
Woohoo!
the greatest supporter of Dirty Beloved gets first dibs for sure.
Awesome. And you know what? I gotta tell you guys, I have not done an interview here at Stargazer Rock Radio before. You guys are my very first one here at this station.
Well,
So,
that's cool.
yeah.
That's a privilege. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of thought that you might like that a little bit, but I figured that I'd ask, you know, some people that I really consider my friends before I asked anybody else to come and be on my show. And I haven't had a chance to have you guys on my show yet. And I don't know, I just took the chance to have yous now before anybody else. I just kind of thought that you might think that was neat, and that's kind of why I stuck myself in your poster, to make you laugh.
Well, you know, that was a good chuckle for sure. And yeah, it's the fifth member, right?
Yep, I get to be part of the band. Woohoo. Anyways, let's see, where am I? Do you guys have upcoming shows you want to talk about?
Well, we just finished playing a show here in Ottawa. That was Friday the 13th, and you know, given that day and the superstition that goes behind it, it certainly lived up to its to its urban legend. it still went really well. Like we had a blast playing it, but you know, technical issues that we've never ever had in the past sort of reared their heads, and song orders got kind of screwed up and stuff like that. But you laugh, you roll with it, and you play a good show, and people seem to dig it. It was probably one of the better crowds we've had in a long time. Not as good as when you were in the crowd, though, Sarah. So don't take any offense.
That night that I came to see you guys, I got locked in the bar at the end of the night.
Yeah, right.
The bartender was cleaning up or whatever, and I was outside with my cousin, and I walked back inside the bar to use the ladies' room real quick, and the bartender had not even seen me walk past, and left and locked me inside the bar. I'm standing there knocking on the glass door at the bartender, and their eyes got as big as saucers. They're like, "What the hell?" I told them that I would have just made up a bed on top of the bar and helped myself, but you know, I guess that wasn't to be had in the cards. I had to go home.
I'm seeing a movie in this somewhere.
Do you guys remember that night?
Oh yeah, I remember it quite well.
Oh
Very
yeah,
good night.
had an awesome night that night. Um, can you name somebody that's made your life better? Besides me.
Made my life better.
My 8-month-old son.
Aw,
Aw, that's
sweet.
a wicked sweet answer. What's his name?
Mercy.
Percy?
Yeah.
That's my favorite cousin's name. That's the name of the cousin that came with me to see your show.
Oh, awesome. Great.
Yeah, my list is it includes obviously parents, my parents, my wife for sure, and my kids. They certainly teach me you know what I'm all about, right? How much patience I have and where I need to improve things. But they're certainly the light of my life.
Well, my kids are now 22 and 16 years old, and
You don't have a 22-year-old.
I do too. He's my boy. He's my number one. He is a really great guy. I'm really proud of him. He turned out really great. I don't know how I ended up with such nice kids either, because I was such a rotten little shit to my mother. But I don't know. It must be that they know that I won't put up with none of their nonsense, and that I've already done it, so they're going to get busted.
Well, the science also says it skips a generation, right?
Oh man, my grandchildren are going to be horrible rotten. Awesome! Gives me something to look forward to.
Watch out for those grandkids.
Oh goodness, I guess maybe. Hopefully I get a few more years left grandkid free. Because, you know, I mean, I'm not even 40 yet, for crying out loud. I don't want any grandkids yet, but... Anyways, what was the worst gig you ever played?
Uh, well, I know what I think.
Uh,
We had a show downtown Ottawa one night, and the bands that we had out with us, we had a pretty good turnout, but they went late, and as we were getting on to do our set, we just watched the whole room drain out, and it was an interesting evening playing to the bartender that night. So
oh, that's horrible. You should
There's
have invited me. I would have
one.
brought all my friends.
There was another one that we did. This is the one that kind of stands out in my mind. So it was for a good cause. It was a charity, and we love doing them. But this one was kind of weird. It was sort of in the middle of the day in sort of an out of the way place that you wouldn't really suspect it. A rock bar to be, and that was again the same thing, except there was never a crowd to begin with. It was the other bands, so we ended up playing for the other bands, and the person, the organizer, and that was pretty much it. So, but that's okay though. Even then, you still always seem to snag one fan. So every show's important.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. It kind of sounds a little bit like the last gig that I had anything to do with. Had this festival down in Texas at the Fort Rail Club, and Fort Worth Rail Club is where it was. And I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that out of the 19 bands that came to play for us in the 2 days. There were not very many people that did not come with the band at all in the audience. And I know that at the end of it, when it was all said and done, there wasn't a whole lot of revenue drawn from that at all. And I kind of thought it sucked, especially for the bands that did come. Some of them actually came from California and all over the place to come and play for us. And I don't know, just hardly anybody at all showed up. And, I kind of really felt bad for, some of the younger bands that there was this one band that there were a bunch of 15, 17-year-old kids in it. And they rocked the house, seriously, they really did. And, it just made me feel bad for them that, here they trying so hard and whatever, and hardly anybody showed up, you know. But, oh well, there's other shows, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's a slightly different world too, right? I mean, people are living more in their phones and instant gratification.
Yeah,
I mean, I still go out to concerts and I still good turnouts for for the bigger bands and stuff like that. But for the younger bands, the indie bands, it is a tough slog for sure.
oh, big time. I felt so horrible for those guys. I mean, seriously, there are like 19 bands that I actually play a lot of their music on my shows. And hardly
Here's
anybody showed up for them, and they're really great. Um, what was the best gig you guys ever did?
that's a there's been a few of them. Some of them didn't even really have a lot of people. It was just like memorable, like just fun, good gigs. We did a biker fest with all these Hell's Angels, ripping up their bikes in front of the stage and stuff like that. And again, we played, sort of during the day, and there's a lot of people there, but they were scattered out, and they all seemed to like it, but nobody kind of crowded the stage. But the greatest feeling was as soon as we finished our set, the sound guy, he didn't walk up or saunter up. He ran up to the stage to say that, we were the best band he thought he'd seen in I can't remember how long. And he was, on top of it, he was a fantastic sound guy. So we're giving him accolades and he's giving us accolades. And then, of course, we proceeded to just party until, the wee hours of the morning just before the sun came up. So that was a blast. That one sticks out in my mind.
Well, I am kind of biased because you guys are kind of dear to me, but you do sound awesome live.
Oh,
So,
thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's hard to capture that too in the CD recording. I mean, we hope we're getting better and better at it as we go, but that's the general gist. Is there's an energy there when we're playing live. So, which is I think it's true for a lot of bands. I mean, there are some bands they're all studio, and then you go and see them live, and they suck. But
oh man, I know exactly what you're talking about. And then the fans are just kind of disappointed, you know.
yeah,
I, I'd rather you sound the way that you sound than be all polished and not sound that way in person. And that's just me though. I don't know.
no,
Um,
I agree.
what's your idea of a perfect night out there doing your gig?
Good crowd, a lot of moshing around in front of us, everybody having a good time, and then just enjoying the other bands playing with us. Catch some good music from the other side. Have a couple of beer and just take the night in.
Yeah, I agree. It's fantastic when, like I said, it doesn't even have to be a big crowd. We've played to 5 people, but they're just so into it and they're cheering you on and they're getting up and they don't have that. They're not conservative or reserved, right? And being in a town where we are, which is a government town, I mean, there's a lot of conservative people here. So when you see somebody let loose, you just feed off that energy. And like I said, it can be 5 people, it could be 5,000 people. Although I don't think we've had 5,000 yet for Dirty Beloved, but it's coming, right, sir?
Yeah, it definitely is coming. I mean, hopefully that you guys just keep on getting bigger and bigger because you really do deserve it. You really do. You guys are great guys. You guys were so nice to me when I met yous. And you guys have always been dear to me ever since. Seriously. I'll always support you guys. I'll always promote you guys. Just so you know that.
So you're saying to make it big, we got to meet every one of our fans and make them feel good?
No, you don't have to do that, but you can come on my show more often and maybe I can get you some more.
Yeah, done and done.
All right, let's see. What can I ask you now? Oh, what has music done to change and enhance your life besides meeting me?
All else pales in comparison.
I know, right?
No, that's the reason for getting up, though. It's kind of like that morning coffee. You kind of need it in your day every day. When you miss, you really feel it.
And if I didn't get my lyrics out, my screaming out, my music, I think other people around me might suffer. So it's a great release. It's fun. It's creative. Yeah, I don't see myself not doing it.
That is awesome. That's kind of like, how I feel about what I do. I can't imagine not doing what I do. Um, some people look at what I do as just a hobby, but to me it's really not because I get to help a lot of people. And, I get to show people things that they didn't necessarily get access to, or they wouldn't have had a chance to know or see or hear. And it just makes me feel really good to do that for other people. There's a lot of things that I actually do for the bands that I like and that I promote, and a lot of people don't know that either. Like, say you're stuck on one of your songs, I'll help you. Say you want concept art, I'm a painter, I'll help you. Say you want just somebody to run their mouth and tell people about you, hey, I've got a show that broadcasts worldwide. What better platform? So, it just makes me feel good to do what I do, so I can totally relate to. I couldn't imagine not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to put the word hobby around it. It's if you want it to be your career, it's your career, and what you do during the day to make some money, well, that's what you do to make money, right? You put your own
Definitely.
definitions on it.
All right, since we're all kids in my mind, who would you like to be most like when you finally grow up?
I don't want to grow up.
You know what? Neither do I.
Now you're talking to four guys that just can't stop with like poop jokes, So we're not going to grow up. I mean, if I make it to 80, I'll still be,
All
a
right,
kid.
seeing as how we're all big kids then. What was your favorite cartoon when you were a kid?
I'm a Looney Tunes kind of guy. I like the Bugs Bunny stuff, and then when you watch it when you're older, it's got different layers of context to it, so you kind of realize, oh, that's a little racy actually. But yeah, that was the one I always watched.
Yeah, Bugs is actually an adult cartoon, and I liked him because he was just an absolute asshole. He really is.
Exactly.
He totally messes with everybody. What about you, Todd? What cartoon
Oh, Wile E. Coyote and that Eternal Pursuit of the Roadrunner kept me laughing.
you? Okay. Well, when you were a kid, what was the thing that you had to have that you had to drag everywhere with you? Your toy, your whoopee, your thing. What was your thing?
Ooh, I don't recall having a security blanket of any sort. So
Oh, I
That's just
did.
plain nuts.
It was a stuffed panda
don't tell
bear.
anybody.
It was given to me the day that I was born, and I always carried it with me everywhere. And my mother made the mistake of letting me take it to kindergarten with me on a Friday. And guess where it stayed all weekend? And guess who paid all weekend? Yes, that's right, my parents. Yeah, that bear never went to school again. Okay, seeing as how, asking you kid questions, may as well ask you what your favorite breakfast cereal was when you were a kid. Were you a Lucky Charms guy, or did you like the Chocula? Oh wait, we're talking about Canada. Did
Oh
you
no,
like the
they sell that
Shreddies?
stuff up here. We're not aliens.
Did you
We
like
got
the
that.
Winnie the Pooh cereal, the Shreddies?
Crunch was a big hit at our place. That normal kids.
So I got a dad who's a health nut, and so the closest I could get to any sort of treat cereal was Shreddies. I think he read the ingredients and said, "Okay, you can have that one."
Well, you
But
guys.
I still like it to this day. But what he didn't know is that I poured a healthy dose of chocolate milk in it each time.
I used to put honey on my Shreddies. I don't know if you guys know this, but when I was a little kid, I lived in Canada for quite some time. My dad actually still lives in Kempville.
I did know that. You did mention that. Your
Yeah.
semi-inebriated state.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I was having fun. I had a good time.
I didn't throw you under the bus. I said semi.
Oh, goodness. What other hobbies or passions do you guys have besides music?
I enjoy motorcycles. I like to ride.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this one out and then probably regret it because my guitar player Mike, he's gonna just laugh. I'm more on the sporty kind of side of things. I play water polo, and I've just recently taken it back up, and it's put me in pretty good shape. So and it's a hell of a lot of fun. But he just makes fun of it because he thinks a bunch of guys in speedos is really risque, so to speak. And I always offer anybody you want to make fun of it, I dare you to hop in and try.
Is there, I don't know, anything that you guys want to talk about at all? Like any shows coming up that you guys want to put out there?
There's nothing booked as of yet, but we are working with a promoter in Montreal. We love to play Montreal because, and again, I don't want to knock out it because like we've had lots of really good shows in Ottawa, lots of good fans, lots of good people here. It's just if you're not bringing your own crowd, people tend to be a little more reserved. Whereas Montreal, you go and they've never seen you before, they've never heard of you before, maybe one or two, but they just come out, they soak it up, they enjoy it. They I think they just embrace life in free form a little more there. And again, like I said, it's not all of Ottawa that's like that, but I mean, you talk to most bands and you'll probably hear something fairly similar. So we're looking forward to that. It's just a matter of just nailing down a date and then heading out there. We don't like to play too much in our own backyard as well. It's just the market's already saturated with a bunch of bands, and it's hard to get the people out if you're playing every month. So we prefer to do quality as opposed to the quantity.
Well, I don't see any questions from the people in the chat room, so must be that I have covered a vast area of topics and discussions, so they don't have anything. They got nothing for me.
So nobody wants to know what we're wearing?
I want to know what you're wearing.
Well, if it was video Skype, you'd know, but no, it's going to have to remain a mystery.
Damn it!
Let's just say we wouldn't want it posted on the internet.
Alright, well, I've got to thank you guys for taking time out for me today and visiting with me, being on my show. I'm really grateful for the time that you guys took out of your day for me. I thank you a lot. You guys want to come on again when you have a new album out? I'd be more than happy to have you on again. If
Yeah, absolutely.
you guys want to come on again with the other members of your band who didn't get a chance to be here, I'd be more than happy to have them on. I have recorded this today for you guys. So after I get off of here and hang up with you guys, I will make the file so I can give it to you. You guys can have a keepsake. You can put it on your page or whatever you want to do with it. But, that way if people didn't get a chance to be here today to hear us and shoot the shit and have a good time, well, then they can hear it at their leisure.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's great. You're promoting us, and when good turn deserves another, and so we get that. We'll definitely post it and promote Stargazer and Sare's Invasion. Absolutely, 100%.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna play another one of you guys' songs, and you guys in the chat room, I'll be right with you in a few minutes. I'm gonna say goodbye to the guys, and yeah. I know that they're all saying it's a great interview, and I covered it all, and uh, oh wait, there is one question.
It's
Urjan,
at the last second, eh?
Urjan from Sweden, he's in a band over there. He wants to know what your favorite band is.
Well, as a band or as individuals, because we would never agree on one band.
For me, right now, I'm again, I'll go to Born of Osiris. I really like this offering.
Yeah, and me, I'm a metalhead at heart, but I kind of shift to where the songwriting strikes me the most. So I bounce all over the place, and for the longest time it would be Zeppelin, then it was Queen.
We all know I'm a metalhead, but I love the Beatles, so come on, there's no shame.
I am now on a big Beatles kick where I've got the remastered discography and just listening to that and just,
They're a great
just being
band.
amazed at it.
Well, they were phenomenal, for crying out loud. Nobody can top the Beatles, except for maybe Batman, and he's not a musician. So, anyways, you guys, in the chat room, I will be right with you. I'm going to play Dirty Beloved's Cause and Defect for you while I say goodbye to the guys. And, guys, thank you so much for being part of my day.
Always a pleasure, Sarah, and cheers to everyone. Thank you for listening, and we hope to meet you at some point. Take care.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.